It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh, like let me explain here, okay? Like even if you could somehow forgive the lack of animation, the bad art, the still frames, the sliding of PNGs, the Goro slide, you can look past the way the music and soundtrack is done. But if there is one thing that is very bad, that makes any form of hope, bastion of hope for One Punch Man to run dry, it is the fact that they are using retcon content, they are skipping content, they are censoring content, they are completely mixing retconned and non-retcon content together where it just doesn't make sense, and it's going to lead to a point to where it's impossible to tell the correct story of One Punch Man. Like, if you were one of those individuals that were like, you know what, I can look past all the other horrendous stuff that One Punch Man is doing, okay? And you're like, I'm just here for the story is collapsing in on itself. They are absolutely doing such a horrendous job with the story, and like, that's not even getting into the skip content and retcon content stuff. Like, there's another thing here that's at work here with the story and how it's being showcased that is just horrendous, and that is the pacing. This entire episode, I don't know if this is probably the worst episode, the biggest stinker out of entirety of Season 3, but it is definitely one of the worst. And the reason why I think it's the worst is because it's a symptom of everything bad with the season. Because you could just see the pacing in this episode, just like an example here, Atomic Samurai's fight. The pacing of this was much better in the manga, obviously, but the way the anime depicts it, it's so fast-paced, there's not enough build-up, like the fight is prolonged and been going on for a while, and it feels like, you know, instantly Atomic Samurai's overwhelmed, and then, like, oh, he cuts the roof on the ceiling, and that's it. It feels like it's just a very minor fight, fodder fight, like, you know, this isn't an important fight at all to the story, when in reality, it is actually an important fight, and the way it's depicted is just so bad. It's just so quickly, like, it's so quick, it just doesn't have time to breathe. And I can say that about the entire episode with the way the pacing of the story is done. Like, this whole Zombie Man stuff with... Oh, what they're doing here with Homeless Emperor and then Zombie Man is just... Just read the manga. I'm just gonna say, if you are here for the story of One Punch Man, and you don't care for the animation, okay, I'm gonna say this. Like, for some reason, you could look past the bad animation, art, censorship, and all that. Just go read the manga. Just do yourself a favor, because they're not even doing the story right, because the way they're mixing this retcon content and non-retcon content is just super weird, and I don't know why they're doing this. I mean, I kinda do. If you want my true guess here, obviously this is just me speculating, but I'm pretty much certain that this is the reason. I feel like the decision-making here of why retcon content is being used is because they want to have a certain fight for the finale of Season 3, and secondly, they probably don't have any expectations or any aspirations to potentially do a Season 4, like a follow-up season, because of just how it's been, and how long it's been as well since Season 2. Not even regarding, like, how bad Season 3 has been. I just feel like it's very clear at this point, even if we disregard all the issues of Season 3 from the very beginning, it's clear the higher-ups just don't have any hope in the project at all. And so they are more or less just wanting to be done with it, throw it to the trash bin, and I feel like that's more or less why this retcon content is being used, is because they just don't want to continue anymore. So, might as well run it into the ground or whatever, and then maybe pick it back up maybe 10 years down the road, for they can do a remaster, remake, and then people will be jumping for joy and hype, because it's going to be doing One Punch Man justice for what it actually deserved, you know, this year alone. But the point of the matter is that it's very clear that this project has no hope. Like, for instance, they have no expectations in it, and the reason why this content's being used is because they don't plan to try to rectify it or make it make sense, because why would they if they have no plans to continue it? But disregarding that for a second, this episode showcases some good and bad qualities about the season. And, or actually, no, mostly bad. The good quality is it showcases that the story of One Punch Man can be very good. Like, for instance, this entire Puri Puri Prisoner segment is legitimately awesome. Like, it's probably the best segment of the entire episode, hands down, not even joking. But it is still something that really suffers from the very poor pacing and just the way the content is skipped or cut in between conversations. The characters are cut as well with other characters. It makes everything just fall flat or not make as much sense, even the jokes as well. And I think because of that entire thing here is that even the best sequence of the episode falls flat, but you can still see the glimmer of quality that seeps through the cracks, which is just depressing, because you could see that there is just such good content here that could have been done justice if it was just given enough time to cook in the oven or microwave, but obviously it was not. But there is one thing I have neglected to talk about when it comes to this episode, and I think is very damning, that legitimately makes me so upset. And I think it's legitimately this sequence right here, which I'm going to show. Like, for instance, this entire scene is just nothing but PNGs, but then it transitions into actual movement like this. You're like, whoa, 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 we got an anime here. And it's so jarring how good it looks here. It's like, you're seeing a glimmer of, like, Season 2 quality stuff. And then, after 4 or 5 seconds, it goes back to nothing but PNGs again, and you're like, this is even worse. Because I'm gonna do a hot take here, okay? When they put this spicy quality animation into the episode that actually looks incredible, it just inherently makes the rest of the episode look even worse. Because it's such a whiplash. It's like you're watching a completely different anime. Like, you go from PNG flip-flaps to this, and you're like, am I even watching the same thing anymore? And then after you see this brief sequence, it's beautiful, it goes back to PNGs. And you're like, dude! The craziest thing about this whole situation is that next week is the finale. Like, let me explain something about that. Let's just do a hypothetical. Let's do hypothetical. Let's say next week's episode for One Punch Man is hands down the best episode for the entire season. Obviously, that's a very low bar. The bar is in hell, okay? But let's say it's the best episode. And hell, I will just say something that's outlandish. Let's say it's better than any episode from Season 1. Obviously, impossible. But hypothetically, let's say the next episode, that is the finale of Season 3, is the best episode ever of One Punch Man. It's anime, since it started. It doesn't change the fact that having 1 or even 2 solid episodes in a 12 episode season is bad. Like, it's a failure. It's bad. It's not good. Like, nothing at this point can save this anime. There is nothing. It can have a straight up high quality episode next week that will be talked about and people will be hyped about, but it cannot save this. Because in fact, if the episode turned out to be even higher quality than everything else, it would turn around and be even worse for the entire season, because people will be like, okay, you can do this, why didn't you do it for the other episodes? And which is what I even said in this video, like when you see 4 or 5 seconds of beautiful animation and art, and then it goes back to PNGs, it gives you this whiplash. You're just like, why do this when just everything else just looks like an abomination? And this franchise is literally cooked. It's like I'm watching one of like my favorite, I'm watching one of my favorite manga just die a very slow death. A very slow death. Like, we're talking agonizingly slow. And the worst part about this whole situation is the censorship. Like, they actually are head over heels with the censorship in this episode as well. Like, I'm going to give some examples here. What is that? Like, is that blackface? Like, is that blackface? It's not even doing blackface! No! It gets worse, bro! Then you have this! And then you got this! It's just like, bro! We just got 1 week left. Just 1 week left. And it's done. We're free. I'm free. I will be done. I will be able to sleep this off like a bad hangover and pretend like One Punch Man Season 3 does not exist. We've just been waiting for 6 to 7 years for a continuation. I can go back to believing that and delude myself that we never got a continuation of the anime. And then, after 10 years passes, and after I've black holed my memory of One Punch Man Season 3, they will announce One Punch Man Remake. And then I will be like, oh, thankfully we finally got a Season 3 of some kind. I'll leave it at that. You all have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. Chibi out.